What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we are here with the end of May, beginning of June 2025 tier list here, guys, for 7 Deadly Sins of Grand Cross. We're going to be going over the 3 latest characters that have released since that I've done the last month's tier list pretty much. And we're going to be going over where I'm going to be ranking these 3 characters. And also, you know, the changes with the actual tier list itself, where I'm going to be moving some of the characters and all that in today's video. So if you guys do enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as we are on the road to that 52,000 subscribers. I definitely do appreciate the support on the channel, guys. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in and let's talk about it. So yeah, we do have the PvP tier list, and we also have the PvE tier list, guys, and we're going to be ranking the brand new characters that have released the past the past like month now. And we're also going to reevaluate Light Escanor as well. That's one character that I do think actually got a major buff with his Holy Relic, and we're going to be talking about that when we do get to him and talking about the meta in PvP. So alright, guys, yeah, with that out of the way, let's hop in and let's start with the green Tristan. We'll talk about exactly what his kit is looking like and then where we'll rank him on the tier list. Alrighty, guys, so here we have the Holy Knight aspirant Prince Tristan here. This was the character that released in the mid-month of May, and so yeah, I mean, let's go over his kit. Let's talk about exactly what he's able to do. For his passive here, Knight of Light, for each goddess ally participating in the battle, their basic stats increase by 5%. The hero is also the goddess race as well. When a goddess ally uses a single target attack, their basic stats increase by 4% for a limit of 5 times, and increases goddess allies crit chance by 5% and critical damage by 10% for 2 turns at the start of the ally's turn, and stacks up to 2 times. And if the goddess allies use single target attacks 2 times during the ally's turn, the enemy's hit are inflicted with the dark glyph for 2 turns. And dark glyph is going to be critical resistance minus 50% and max HP minus 20%. When dying, the hero applies light glyph on goddess allies for 2 turns. Light glyph is going to be defense related stats plus 30% and inflicts additional damage equal to 200% of the hero's defense when using skills. So that is going to be passive right there for the Prince Tristan. Let's move on now to the skills. So we have the first skill here being multiple cuts. Inflicts Shadow Gleam damage equal to 180% of attack on one enemy. Shadow Gleam is going to be 2 times critical chance, 20% damage dealt for every buff on the battlefield at a limit of 10 times. Any scaling is going to be 180, 270, and 450% of attack. And then moving into his second skill here, we have the Swirling Blade, which is going to decrease defense related stats of one enemy by 20% for 2 turns and inflict damage equal to 200% of attack single target. And yeah, in terms of the scaling, it's going to be 30% on the rank 2 instead of 20, 250%, and then 40%, 300%. And it's going to be 3 turns on the rank 3. Moving on to his ultimate here, guys, this is going to be get the bad guy at level 2 dupe level. So obviously, you know, bear in mind this does change based on the dupes. Inflicts secret technique damage equal to 330% of attack on all enemies and deals damage to attribute advantage regardless of the attribute. And the secret technique effect is going to be plus 28% additional damage per hero skill use. Alrighty, guys, so now that we've gone over the kit information for the green Tristan, let's actually rank him now on the PvP and PvE tier list. So for the PvP tier list, guys, I actually am going to rank Tristan alongside the goddess team, but we are going to be moving down the goddess team from being the second best team in the game. And you guys will understand once I do get to the King and Diane portion of the video. But yeah, I mean, right now, guys, goddess team is still a meta team. Let's not get that twisted. I think they're still a viable team. You can run them in PvP and be super successful. The one thing right now with Tristan that I feel like is his main issue is his lack of CC. Right now, the character does not have a Holy Relic. So if we actually back out of here and I remove my face cam, the character does not have a Holy Relic yet, guys. He's still kind of waiting to get one. And I mean, his passive, like, for what he's kind of doing in the passive is pretty much everything LR Margaret's doing on field. And so this is kind of a situation where I feel like once this character does get a Holy Relic to be able to buff the rest of the Gods team, I think that's going to make him, you know, the best in slot on Gods team right now. Whereas like at the moment, I just think he's kind of an option, and he will be a fairly solid option at that though. So I don't think he's going to be like a bad character to run on Goddesses, but he's definitely just kind of like, if you don't have LR Margaret built, or if you know, want to run, kind of Tristan here and you're able to always go first regardless, then yeah, I mean, running Tristan on the team over LR Margaret is going to be the way to go. And I think, you know, for the most part, the new best goddess team is going to be the Mael, Melieli, we have Tristan, and then backline with the red Sariel, because Sariel is providing that 40% attack if your character does not take damage, which I think is insanely strong. So yeah, right now at the moment, guys, I'm gonna have the Gods team be the third best team, and that's, you know, based on what's gonna be coming with the other two characters here and how we're gonna be ranking them as well. But yeah, that is going to be Tristan in the PvP side of the game. Now moving over to PvE side of the game, in terms of like where I'm gonna put the character, I actually am gonna give him the A tier. I think Tristan's actually great in PvE, and I have him in kind of the same slot as, you know, the Darkness Mael and Light Mael, because, you know, when you run them together on a fairy squad, they actually are insanely strong, and they have a lot of like kind of synergy, you know, with single target effects, and, you know, trying to do a ton of damage in PvE with single targets. That's obviously very, very good. And yeah, I mean, this character I think is great, guys. Like in terms of a PvE character and just being a goddess buffer as well, I think he's really nice. It's kind of just the same situation as LR Margaret, and I got LR Margaret right now in B tier, but I will give this character a little bit higher in terms of the ranking because he is providing a little bit more in terms of the support in a PvE kind of setting as well, right? Because he is also, remember, he has like damage himself, whereas like Margaret, you know, she really is just kind of providing the buff and then the AoE damage, which is not like really that crazy. So I actually am gonna give Tristan the A tier alongside the Mael and the rest of the other goddesses that I think are viable in PvE, because I do think that they're able to clear a lot of the content. I've done a video already going through, you know, a few of the demonic beasts characters able to be good in, and yeah, I mean, I think he's solid in PvE. I wouldn't say he's like, you know, outstanding or anything like that, but he is definitely a universal option on a goddess team in PvE. Alrighty guys, so now that we're done talking the Tristan character, let's move on now to LR Brunhild, and we'll talk about exactly where we're going to be ranking this character. So in terms of LR Brunhild, guys, she is going to be a character that is going to be a really insane buff from the original Brunhild that we had. Remember, this is the LR Brunhild of the red strength variant, right? So, you know, she is going to be very strong, and she was definitely oriented around the Ragnarok team at first. So let's actually cover exactly what they did in terms of the buff with the LR, and we'll talk about what they actually changed in her passive. So starting out with her unique here, guys, Authority of the Princess, and this is active in all content. Increases the hero's base stats by 12% for each applicable ally participating in the battle. So applicable allies are going to be humans and the Ragnarok characteristics. So they actually did add humans into this LR for this character. And then decrease all enemies attack related stats and defense related stats at the start of the ally's turn for 1 turn. And for each debuff applied to enemies, the hero's attack related stats increase by 7% at a limit of 6 times. And the hero damage taken decreases by 1%, and critical damage increases by 3% for every 2% of remaining HP when using skills. And the hero's weak point skill actually ignores 50% of the target's critical resistance. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the things in the passive here that were added here, guys, was the applicable allies of humans. You now are getting attack related stats for every debuff. You get the damage reduction, critical damage increase for the amount of remaining HP you have. And then the weak point skills are actually going to be hitting very hard now as well. So moving into these skills of the character here, guys, for the first skill here, it's going to decrease the hero's max HP by 2% once for 3 turns. Then inflict charge damage equal to 250% of attack on one enemy. This is going to stack up to 5 times as well for the debuff, unless you do have the Holy Relic, where it can only stack up to once. And the charge is going to be ignoring enemy defense. You guys can see the scaling here is going to be 250, 375, 625 as well, which is very strong. And then moving on to the second skill here, guys, it's just standard weak point, but they've upped the percents on the actual damage now. So weak point 99% on the rank 1, 132% of attack on rank 2, and then rank 3 is going to be 204% of attack as well, and against all enemies, guys. And then moving on to the ultimate here, guys, the hero now increases attack related stats by 50% for 2 turns, then inflicts the 735% of attack on one enemy and restores the HP of all allies equal to 80% of the damage dealt. And this is at a 6 out of 6 dupe level for the ultimate. Now moving on to the last thing here, guys, it's going to be the Holy Relic, which this character already did have, but it does tie into the kit and how it's going to be, you know, really good for this character. So only 1 debuff can be on the hero, and increases the hero's attack by 20% when debuffed, and this is all content as well. Alrighty guys, so now that we've talked about exactly what LR Brunhild's able to do with her kit, where are we going to be ranking her on the tier list? So for PvP, we'll start with PvP. Before we do PvE content. For PvP, I do think LR Brunhild is a solid option on a human variant team. And right now, I kind of got humans in like the A tier, where they're like above average. You can definitely run them, and they're all pretty viable. My concern right now with LR Brunhild is that the human team itself doesn't really have like the amount of crazy, you know, either damage cap or support that the goddess team, the fairy team, and the unknown team, and also another team which we will be talking about a little bit soon here with King and Diane. But yeah, I mean, right now I do think that the human team right now is the A tier. It's a solid team. You can still, you know, push up in ungeared PvP with the team, and I do think that it is viable. You know, you can definitely run it. It's not going to be like a top meta team. It's not better than goddesses. It's not better than unknown, but it's still viable, and you know, I will give Brunhild that credit. And Brunhild herself does hit very, very hard as well, guys. So, you know, it's a character that will be providing a lot of damage in PvP. If that's something you're looking for on a human team, then she is going to fit that slot insanely well. Now, moving over to the PvE side of the game, guys, I actually really do like this Brunhild. Yeah, I mean, she got to go into A tier. And the reason why I say this is because Brunhild is a red human. Remember, that is something that we've been lacking for a while now in the game. Bro, we've had many red humans come, you know, through the game. You know, you've had like Reinhardt, you've had Red Levi, we've had, you know, what is it, Rudius. And a lot of them were collab characters, and now we have a really dominant red human that is really good across all PvE content, and even in you know, things like Demon King Battle. You know, we're talking like Ratatosker. She's absolutely insane as well. That's another thing to take into account. I think right now the only thing that she's not really good in is, you know, the deathmatch with Endura, but that's not like a fault at the character really. It's just the fact that she's a red attribute character, right? And I actually had this character being the new best DPS at the time when she released for Ratatosker, just based on how strong she was, and because of the synergy she had with Blue Valenti and then even the red Jormungand. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, guys, I don't know if I can concretely say that she would be the S tier, but she is on the level of S tier. Like, she is in kind of the same level as tier. And yeah, I mean, DK Melee right now, I still see the viability for DK Melee in PvP. So maybe we do give Brunhild the S tier. Maybe we do, because I actually see her very similarly to the green tier. The only thing that she doesn't really compete in PvE is going to be like, you know, floor for the deer, floor for the bird. So I guess that's why I will leave her in the A tier. At least those other two characters can clear in that. DK Melee, you know, not being part of that. So honestly, at this point, guys, I think it might be time to drop DK Melee down. You know, the guy is unfortunately not able to be used in like floor 4 content. LR Liz is not either, but I think she is kind of in a different situation where she is the only real like team-wide healer we have. And so I feel like because of that, she definitely stays in the S tier. And Tyrion and Xion right now are way better DPSs right now on the hardest content in the game than DK Meliodas as well. So yeah, I mean, I have Brunhild higher than DK Melee though, so you could honestly say, guys, DK Melee or you know, LR Brunhild's like an S tier in PvE, but I think right now we'll give her A tier because I don't think she fits like every single content in the game. She's still really good, but you know, again, it's a thing of like, you know, I don't think she's just gonna be better than, you know, Tyr or Xion in general, just across like all PvE. But like in general, she is very, very good and not a character to sleep on at all. Alrighty, guys, so now we are hopping into the final character for the tier list that we're going to be ranking, and that is going to be the brand new festival, King and Diane. So let's actually pull up the kit of the character here, and we're going to talk exactly what they're able to do. And this is post buff, by the way. I waited to see, you know, the buff before I was actually going to do the tier list video. So this is post buff King and Diane, what they're able to do. So for the passive here, guys, Guardian of the Forest, let me actually put this to 1 out of 6 as well, just so we get more of a like a relatable passive experience. So increases the basic stats of applicable allies purchasing the battle by 15%. Each hero increases all stats of the hero duo by 7% as well, and the applicable allies are going to be fairies, giants, and the 7 deadly sins characteristic. Now, at the start of the allies' turn, Wrath of the Earth is applied to enemies who do not have Wrath of the Earth, and the Wrath of the Earth effect is going to be an accumulation of up to 400,000 of the target's damage taken. And at the start of the battle, Giant Queen's Protection is applied to the hero duo, and suppressed damage taken is applied to applicable allies for 1 turn. The Giant Queen's Protection is going to be HP related stats plus 20% and immune to Petrify. And then the suppressed damage taken is going to be damage taken from enemy skills do not exceed 50% of maximum HP. And then whenever the hero reaches the maximum value of the Wrath of the Earth, the hero duo gains 1 Wrath of the Fairy King effect up to a maximum of 3, and the Wrath of the Fairy King is going to be attack related stats plus 7% and damage taken minus 40%, and this can stack up to 5 times as well. And when the hero duo uses a alt target attack other than their ultimate move on an enemy with the Wrath of the Earth effect, the enemy takes additional damage equal to 20% of the accumulated value, and one Wrath of the Fairy King effect is removed each time the hero duo themselves take damage from an enemy skill during the enemy's turn. And if there is a petrified enemy, applicable allies' final damage taken from enemy skills will be decreased by 20%. So yeah, I mean, overall across the board, guys, King and Diane's passive is absolutely insane. This is at 1 out of 6, by the way. So at higher dupe, they're going to be getting even more damage reduction for their team. They're going to be getting even more accumulated value damage. And yeah, I mean, overall, they're just absolutely insane in terms of their passive. Alright guys, so moving on to the second skill, we do have light point damage. So it's going to inflict light point damage equal to 180% of attack on all enemies, and the scaling is going to be 180, 230, and 300% of attack. And then the light point effect is going to be 2 times critical chance, 2 times critical damage, and the hero duo plus 60% attack when using a skill. The damage dealt is going to be plus 30% against targets who do not have accumulated maximum Wrath of the Earth value. And then damage dealt plus 100% against targets who've accumulated the maximum Earth or Wrath of the Earth value as well. So that is going to be the effect of the AoE. And then moving on to the ultimate here, guys, this is going to be at the max dupe level as well. So obviously bear in mind this does change based on the dupe level. Increases the hero duo's damage dealt by 50% for 3 turns and applies 3 Wrath of the Fairy King effects on the hero duo. Then inflicts light point damage equal to 500% of attack on all enemies. And again, guys, light point is the exact same as the AoE skill with, you know, the all the effects here for the Wrath of the Earth value. And then moving on to their final thing, guys, which is going to be their talent effect. Applies 2 Wrath of the Fairy King effects on the hero duo. Remove allies debuffs equal to the number of surviving allies. Then heal allies equal to 350% of the hero duo's attack. And the cooldown is going to be 3 turns as well. Alrighty guys, so now hopping into the tier list here, let's start with PvP because I think this is a big game-changing character for PvP. Now, I am going to be moving the King and Diane into the second best team in PvP at the moment, or best team depending on the variant you are running. Now, that's the thing that I'm gonna, you know, kind of preface with this character is it depends on the team you're running, guys, and it depends on the kind of setup. So on Fairy team right now, in my opinion, I do not think Fairies is King and Diane's best team, which is a little bit shocking to a lot of people. But the other team that I think is actually better now than the than the Fairy team, which we have Fairies right now in S tier, but I think the new other team that is going to be really good as well is going to be the 7 Deadly Sins team with the new Ultimate SNR Holy Relic. So we're actually going to open up SNR's Relic and we'll talk about it, but Sins is now a viable team as well. I'm going to move UR Gother up. I'm going to move the Infinity Merlin up as well for the backline. I'm going to move up, yeah, I mean, we could really add any kind of, you know, like, pretty much any 7 Deadly Sins character that was already really good in PvP. You can run them alongside these characters, guys. But these are the main that I've found that have been like really good in terms of countering the kind of meta we're in right now. And yeah, I mean, against a Hell team, this team is able to deal with it fairly easily, even with a Ludo Link Hell, you know, because you have Gother for the gauge reduction. But yeah, I mean, there is a bunch of other options you can run in terms of the 7 Deadly Sins team as well. You know, you can run like this Ultimate SR instead of the light one. You can run LR Bond. I think LR Bond's another option as well. Yeah, I mean, there is a bunch of flexibility, guys, and, you know, feel free to kind of experiment. But I do think right now that 7 Deadly Sins is a little bit better than the Fairy team. And I would also say that 7 Deadly Sins is better than the Unknown team. But the Unknown team is better than the Fairy team, if you guys understand where I'm coming from. So I am going to put King and Diane right here, because I do still think that, like, in general, you know, a Unknown team for the most part will beat out a King and Diane team, but I still think they're viable. And don't get it twisted, I do think that they are a really good character in PvP. It's just not that they're the best team in the game right now, at least on Fairies, right? Whereas I do think on Sins, I think they are the best team. But yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about that. Maybe it's different for you guys, but yeah, I mean, I've seen the viability with Sins, guys, and they're absolutely insane. And so yeah, let me show you guys the Holy Relic here for Ultimate SNR, because that was a major addition to the 7 Deadly Sins team that we actually did get. Alright, yeah, so Escanor's Holy Relic now is going to be for each applicable ally participating in the battle, their basic stats increase by 5%, and the applicable allies are going to be humans and the 7 Deadly Sins, so he's providing support. And then at the start of the ally's turn, all enemies take damage equal to 10% of the remaining HP for each final flame effect on the hero. And when the hero uses an attack skill other than the ultimate move in PvP, the hero's attack related stats increase by 50%, and their HP decreases by 50% of their maximum HP as well. So yeah, I mean, like in PvP, Ultimate SNR is going to to be a very, very dominant character because you rip the single target, which obviously does, you know, a really good amount of damage here. And it's based on having remaining HP on self. So, you know, the moment you use this card, it's going to do a lot of damage and then it strips your HP. And that's when this skill right here is going to do a lot of damage because it's based on your HP lost pretty much, right? Additional damage for every percent of HP missing from self. So that's when this AoE starts to hit hard. So you single target into the AoE and it's an insane combo, guys. So that is going to be where I'm at right now in terms of the PvP side of the game with King and Diane, and that's where I'm going to have Ultimate Escanor as well, which I actually do think he is better than the other Escanor. But yeah, that is going to be the PvP tier list. Let's move on now to the PvE side of the game. And yeah, I mean, guys, this is honestly another S tier borderline or A tier borderline S tier character. The reason why I say this is because if King and Diane was usable in Endura, I actually would have had this character in the S tier, but because of the fact that I have, you know, Alpha, Beta, and them in A tier, because they're only really viable in Endura, whereas King and Diane are pretty much viable in everything else, they would have been easily the S tier character right now, guys. But because of the fact that they're not usable in Endura, then it does hold them back. Whereas I feel like with Tyr, Xion, and LR Liz, none of them are blue attribute anyway, so we can't use them in Endura, right? They literally are actually just unable to be used in that. But in every other content that they're usable in, they're great. And that goes for King and Diane as well. In every other content King and Diane are usable in, they're absolutely insane. Honestly, King and Diane, I would say, is my new favorite rat DPS, even after LR Brunhild that we just got. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really a toss-up for me, but because of the fact they can't be used for Endura, guys, I cannot give them the S tier. I actually just cannot give them the S tier, but they are on that level. Like, if you're wondering, like, how good they are versus, like, Tyr, Xion, and, like, LR Liz and just, like, Demonic Beast content, they're better. They actually are better than, like, those characters, but because of the fact they aren't usable in the new hardest deathmatch in the game, and they're, you know, technically, they should be able to be used in it based on what they do, I cannot give them the S tier, guys. But other than that, they're absolutely insane. So don't get it twisted. Because I have them in A tier does not mean that they're bad. They are actually better, in my opinion, in some certain PvE contents than Tyr and Xion, and then even LR Liz as well. So yeah, I mean, absolutely absurd character, guys. One of the best PvE characters in the game, and a must build, in my opinion, if you do pull this character. So yeah, that is going to be it for the video right there, guys. That is the updated tier list right there overall for the PvP and PvE side of the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And yeah, I mean, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. You know, I feel like this UR Gother pick is a little controversial, but yeah, I mean, I've been, you know, pretty successful with it in PvP, and I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say as well. So that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.